Sit still for a moment and listen, not to the noise of the outer world, but to the voice within you. The voice that says, I am. These two words are the foundation of creation itself. Before anything in existence was made, before the stars were placed in the heavens, there was only I am. It is the name of God, the eternal presence that shapes reality. But let me tell you a great secret. That presence is you. You have been conditioned to believe that life happens to you, that you must wait, beg, or struggle to receive your desires. But the truth is this: you are the operant power. You do not ask for your desires as a servant pleads with a master. You declare them into being. You claim them as already yours. When you speak the words, I am, you are setting creation in motion. So, what are you declaring? Are you saying, I am abundant, I am loved, I am successful? Or have you been unconsciously affirming, I am struggling, I am lost, I am unworthy? Whatever follows I am will manifest in your world. This is not a possibility. This is law. And tonight, I will show you how to use it. You cannot receive what you are not conscious of being. If you desire wealth, you must first embody I am wealthy. If you long for love, you must dwell in I am loved. The world outside is only a reflection of the state you hold within. Change your identity, and the world must rearrange itself to match it. Do not wait for proof. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and rest in that state. If you wish to manifest health, you do not ask for healing. You assume the state of being whole. You walk, talk, and think as one who is already healed. Your words are not idle. They are creative forces. When you declare, I am powerful, I am unstoppable, you command the universe to bring forth conditions that match your assumption. But if you say, I am afraid, I am failing, the world obeys that as well. Watch your words, for they are the seeds of your future. Your imagination is not fantasy, it is the blueprint of all that exists. When you close your eyes and vividly see yourself living in your desired reality, you are not merely daydreaming. You are constructing the unseen, which must, in time, become seen. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled in your imagination, and the physical world will follow. Doubt is the destroyer of all manifestation. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up each day to check if it is growing. You water it, nurture it, and trust that it will bloom. Likewise, once you assume a state, persist in it. Do not look to the outer world for validation. The shift happens within first. Every moment you are in a state of being, whether consciously or unconsciously, you are manifesting. If you do not deliberately choose your state, the world will assign one to you. Choose wisely. Say to yourself daily, I am the master of my fate. I am the creator of my world. Nothing in your life is separate from you. The people, the circumstances, even the challenges, they are all reflections of the state you hold within. If you find discord in your world, do not attempt to change it externally. Change it within. Hold fast to your desired assumption, and the mirror of life will reflect it back to you. The greatest mistake is to desire something and then contradict it with doubt. Once you have declared, I am successful, I am loved, I am abundant, there is nothing more to do. You do not need to chase, force, or plead. Simply be. Let the state sink into your subconscious, and reality will conform in perfect order. You are the operant power. You are the creator. You are I am. Now speak it into existence. You must first become aware of who you are before you can change anything in your life. Not as a name, not as a body, not as a person defined by past experiences or external circumstances, but as the very essence of creation itself. You are not merely a participant in this world. You are the creator of your reality. Everything you experience, everything you call life, is a direct reflection of your inner state. It is impossible to receive what you are not conscious of being. This is not a mere philosophy. It is law. The world does not give you what you want. It gives you who you are. If you desire wealth, yet persist in seeing yourself as struggling, the world has no choice but to reflect struggle back to you. If you desire love, yet remain in the assumption that you are unwanted, life will bring you evidence to confirm that belief. The external world is only a mirror. It has no power of its own. It is neutral, responding only to the state you occupy within. To ask, to seek, to beg for change while remaining in the same consciousness is futile. The beggar does not become rich by merely wishing for wealth. He must first abandon the consciousness of lack. He must assume the state of I am wealthy before riches can appear. This is the great misunderstanding of the world. People believe they must work harder, struggle longer, chase after their desires, when in truth they must only change their state of being. The process is simple yet profound. It begins with the recognition that the words I am are the most powerful creative force in existence. These words are not idle. They are the root of all that is. Whatever follows them, life must express. If you say, I am unworthy, the world will shape itself to affirm that belief. If you say, I am powerful, life will reflect that power back to you. There is no outside force deciding your fate. There is only your assumption of who you are. You do not become something by striving for it. You become it by assuming it is already so. The moment you accept a new identity, reality shifts. The illusion of time, of process, of waiting for things to change fades away. There is no distance between you and your desires. There is only a change in awareness. If you believe you must struggle for success, that belief alone will keep success at a distance. But if you assume success is your natural state, the outer world will conform effortlessly. Everything in life operates on this principle. The man who constantly affirms, I am tired, will find his energy drained. The woman who continually claims, I am unappreciated, will meet nothing but people who reinforce that state. This is not coincidence. This is the law in motion. You are always affirming something, whether consciously or unconsciously, and the world is always responding. Look around you. Observe the conditions of your life, every aspect of it. Your relationships, your finances, your health is a reflection of the state you habitually dwell in. There is discord in your world. The cause is not external forces, not fate, not bad luck, but an unconscious assumption playing out. To change any circumstance, you must first change your identity. The shift is internal before it is external. Begin now. Speak the words, I am, with awareness. Choose deliberately what follows. Say, I am abundant. I am loved. I am successful. I am limitless. Do not wait for external confirmation. Assume it now. Feel it real. Persist in that feeling, and the world must obey. This is not wishful thinking. This is the fundamental nature of reality. If you wish to receive something, do not look outward. Do not seek validation from the world. Go within and claim it. The moment you declare, I am something, you set creation in motion. The seed is planted. All that is required is persistence. Do not waver. Do not contradict your assumption with doubt. Hold firm in the knowing that it is already done. And life will reshape itself accordingly. You do not have to force anything. The shift happens effortlessly when you assume a new state. Just as a man who believes himself to be unworthy will unconsciously sabotage opportunities, a man who assumes worthiness will naturally attract them. The state dictates the experience. This is why change is immediate when identity changes. The outer world has no choice but to reflect the inner transformation. You must not entertain any idea of separation between you and your desires. There is no future moment when you will become successful, loved, or abundant. There is only now. Right now, you must assume the state of the person you wish to be. And as you do, reality bends to that assumption. Many will say, but I do not see evidence of it. They are looking to the world for confirmation before they have made the shift within. That is like waiting for a mirror to change before changing your expression. It does not work that way. The world is the mirror. The reflection changes only when you do. Do not wait for signs. Do not wait for things to feel different. Assume the feeling first, and the outer world will catch up. Hold fast to your new identity, no matter what the senses show. What you assume, you become. What you believe yourself to be, you will see expressed. You are not small. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are the cause, not the effect. Recognize your power. Choose now who you wish to be. Speak it with conviction. Live in the state of the wish fulfilled. And know with certainty that life will mold itself in perfect harmony to your assumption. You do not receive what you merely wish for. You receive what you assume to be true. This is the foundation upon which all creation rests. The world you see, the experiences you live, the conditions that surround you, are not random. They are the outpicturing of your inner state. Change your assumption and you change your world. To assume is not to hope. It is not to long for something in the future. It is to accept as fact that which is not yet visible. The unseen is more real than what the senses perceive. For all that is visible was once unseen. The house you dwell in, the clothes you wear, the life you live, each was once only an idea, a thought formed in the unseen realm before it solidified into physical form. Nothing in your world appears by chance. It is all brought forth by assumption, whether conscious or unconscious. There is no force outside of you granting or denying your desires. No power in the heavens, no fate, no destiny apart from your own assumption of what is real. The law is precise. It does not discriminate between what you call good or bad. It does not judge what you assume to be true. It simply makes it so. If you assume lack, the world will arrange itself to confirm that assumption. If you assume abundance, life must express it. Every moment you are assuming something. You assume you are healthy, or you assume illness. You assume you are worthy, or you assume rejection. These assumptions are not fleeting thoughts. They are deeply ingrained beliefs, states of being that shape your entire experience. And because they are habitual, you mistake them for truth. Yet truth is not fixed. It bends to the force of your assumption. You need not fight against circumstances. You need not struggle to change the world outside of you. Instead, withdraw your attention from appearances and ask yourself, what am I assuming? What is the underlying belief that is shaping my reality? If you wish to see a different world, you must first change the assumption that governs it. It is not enough to say you desire something. Desire alone changes nothing. You must assume the state of already having it. The moment you do, the world begins to shift. This is not imagination in the sense of idle fantasy. It is the deliberate occupation of a new state. The world is clay in the hands of assumption, and assumption is the sculptor. There is no limit to what you may assume. The laws of man do not apply here, nor the rules dictated by society. What others call possible or impossible is of no concern. Your assumption alone determines what is real for you. A man may assume himself to be wealthy while possessing nothing, and soon wealth will find its way to him. Another may assume himself to be poor despite having much, and before long his riches will vanish. The state precedes the manifestation. The inner reality is the cause. The outer world is only the effect. Many will say, but I do not see evidence of what I assume. They wait for the world to change before they believe. But this is the great misunderstanding. The world cannot change first. It is only a reflection. A mirror does not alter the face it reflects. It simply shows what is already there. Change the expression and the mirror must follow. Likewise, change your assumption and the world has no choice but to conform. You may test this for yourself. assume the feeling of being someone entirely different. If you feel unrecognized, assume you are admired. If you feel unloved, assume you are deeply cherished. Persist in this assumption, not with force, but with conviction. Do not look to the outer world for confirmation. Remain faithful to the state within, and soon you will see evidence unfold in the most natural way. Doubt is the great enemy of assumption. It weakens, delays, and often prevents manifestation altogether. The moment you question whether your assumption is working, you have stepped out of the state. You have returned to your former self, and the world reflects accordingly. Faith is nothing more than unwavering assumption. To the degree that you persist in the state of the wish fulfilled, to that degree the world must rearrange itself to make it so. There is no special time required for assumption to take effect. Some changes happen instantly, others unfold gradually. The timing is not your concern. Your only task is to remain in the new state, to live and breathe from it, as though no other reality exists. The rest will take care of itself. The law is impersonal. It does not care who applies it. It simply responds. The same assumption that can make one man rich can make another poor, depending on how it is used. The principle does not change, only the assumption itself. This is why two people in the same conditions can have vastly different experiences. One assumes success, and life reflects it. Another assumes struggle, and life confirms it. The choice is always yours. Begin now. Assume you are already the person you wish to be. Speak as that person. Walk as that person. Think as that person. Let no outer evidence shake your conviction. The moment you occupy the state fully, the world must yield. There is no other way. What you assume, you become. What you believe yourself to be, you will see reflected in every aspect of your life. The words you speak within yourself are the architects of your reality. Every moment, whether you are aware of it or not, you are engaged in an internal dialogue, shaping the world around you through the silent conversations that take place in your mind. These inner conversations are not meaningless. They are the seeds from which all external events grow. What you repeatedly say within, you will eventually experience without. You do not need to shout your desires into the world or force them into being through effort. The world is a mirror, and it faithfully reflects the thoughts you entertain. If you wish to change anything in your life, begin by changing your inner dialogue. Do you speak of lack or abundance? Do you argue for your limitations or affirm your possibilities? The answer is revealed in the conditions of your life, for life does not contradict your assumptions, it confirms them. Observe the conversations you carry on in the secrecy of your mind. What do you tell yourself about your worth, your success, your relationships? Do you dwell on past failures, reliving them over and over again? Do you justify why things are not working in your favor? Or do you engage in conversations that reflect the person you wish to become? The answers to these questions will show you why your life is the way it is. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are is determined by the habitual tone of your inner speech. A man who continuously tells himself that he is overlooked will find himself ignored. A woman who constantly complains in her mind about mistreatment will attract more situations to confirm her belief. This is not coincidence. The world arranges itself to match the frequency of your inner conversations. If you speak defeat within, the outer world will give you reasons to feel defeated. If you argue for your limitations, life will gladly enforce them. But the same law that binds you to unwanted circumstances is the law that can set you free. The moment you deliberately shift the nature of your inner dialogue, you shift the course of your destiny. Instead of dwelling on problems, begin to converse as though your desires are already fulfilled. Speak within yourself as one who has already received all that he seeks. If you wish to be wealthy, do not mentally complain about your financial struggles. Instead, engage in conversations that reflect abundance. Hear yourself thanking others for the wealth you now possess. See yourself generously giving. Experience the joy of already having. This does not mean simply thinking positively or affirming mindlessly. It means embodying the state mentally, making it so real within that it must externalize itself without. Your world is a shadow cast by the inner dialogues you maintain. If you truly wish to transform your reality, then every conversation within must align with the life you wish to live. It is not enough to speak differently for a moment and then revert to old patterns. Persistence is the key. You must saturate your mind with the reality you desire until it becomes your natural dwelling place. Let your internal speech match the external life you wish to experience. Do not wait for circumstances to change before you adjust your conversations. Change them now, and circumstances will follow. This is the great secret of creation. All that you see, all that you experience, is the outpicturing of an unseen reality first formed in thought. Change your thought, and you change the unseen cause. Change the unseen cause, and the visible world must shift accordingly. This is not philosophy, it is law. Test this principle. The next time you find yourself engaged in mental chatter, stop and ask yourself, is this conversation leading me toward the life I desire? If the answer is no, change it. Replace every thought of limitation with one of expansion. If you catch yourself speaking words of doubt, replace them with words of certainty. If your inner speech reflects lack, replace it with the language of fulfillment. Do this repeatedly until it becomes second nature. Your mind is not a battlefield for contradictory thoughts. It must be governed, directed, and disciplined. If you do not take control of your inner dialogue, the world will dictate it for you, and it will rarely be in your favor. You must become the master of your thoughts, the creator of your own script. Speak only that which you desire to see reflected in the world. Nothing in your life is beyond transformation. The only question is whether you are willing to take full responsibility for your inner speech. If you truly desire to see change, do not look to the world. Look within. Shape your inner conversations to match the reality you seek, and soon you will find that reality reflected in every aspect of your life. Creation is finished. Every possibility, every outcome, every version of your life already exists. You are not here to struggle or force things into being. You are here to select the reality you desire and align yourself with it. The way to do this is simple. You must feel the reality of your desire as if it were already fulfilled. You must embody it in consciousness so completely that it becomes your natural state. The world you experience is nothing more than the externalization of your inner state. If you feel lack, life will reflect it. If you feel abundance, life will confirm it. This is not a matter of hope or mere wishing. It is the law of consciousness. Whatever you accept as true in your imagination becomes fact in your world. Therefore, if you wish to see a change in your external reality, you must first experience that change internally. Feeling is the secret. You do not merely think about your desire, you feel as though it is already accomplished. If you want to be wealthy, do not simply affirm it. You must feel the freedom and security that wealth brings. If you desire love, do not merely wish for it. You must feel the warmth, the joy, the companionship, as if it were already yours. The subconscious mind does not respond to empty words. It responds to the feeling behind them. It takes what you feel as true and projects it onto the screen of space. To feel a thing is real, you must enter the state of already having it. You do this by closing your eyes, withdrawing from the outer world, and allowing yourself to sink into the experience mentally. You touch it in imagination, you see it vividly, you hear the sounds associated with it, but above all, you feel it. You immerse yourself so deeply in the experience that when you open your eyes, you know that what you have just experienced is more real than the world around you. This is not daydreaming, this is not hoping. This is the creative act itself. When you enter a state in imagination and persist in it until it feels natural, reality has no choice but to conform. Your current conditions are the result of past states of consciousness. If you wish to change them, you must change what you are accepting and feeling as real now. There is no other way. Doubt will try to creep in. The mind, conditioned by the senses, will seek to convince you that nothing has changed. But reality does not originate in the outer world. It begins within. If you continue to feel yourself as the person who already possesses what you seek, the world will shape itself to match your conviction. The moment you waver, the moment you allow appearances to dictate your belief, you prolong the manifestation. You must discipline yourself to remain faithful to the unseen reality. You must walk by faith, not by sight. You do not need evidence in the outer world to confirm your new state. The evidence will come in time, but your task is to persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must remain unwavering, regardless of what the senses tell you. Test this for yourself. Take a simple desire, something you can easily believe, and assume its fulfillment. Feel it as real. Carry this feeling with you throughout the day and watch as life reshapes itself around your new assumption. Once you see this principle in action, you will understand that you are the cause of all that you experience. Nothing happens by chance. All things unfold according to the states of consciousness you occupy. If you can fully embody the feeling of already having what you desire, nothing can stop it from appearing in your world. It is law. What you accept in imagination with full conviction must become fact. This is the key to creation. This is how you bring the unseen into the seen. This is how you shape your destiny. Everything you desire already exists in potential. The only requirement is that you assume it to be real. But an assumption, no matter how vivid, will not materialize unless you persist in it. The moment you accept something as true in imagination, you have set the creative process in motion. But it is only through sustained belief that it manifests in the external world. You must persist in the assumption until it hardens into fact. The world around you is not independent of your mind. It is the outpicturing of your inner states, shaped by the thoughts and feelings you persistently hold. If you assume wealth but continue to identify with lack, your assumption is weak and will not take root. If you assume love but revert to feelings of loneliness, your imagination is divided and no change will occur. The key is to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled so deeply that it becomes your dominant reality. You may look at the world and see no immediate confirmation of your desire, but this does not mean the process is not working. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. It must remain in the soil, undisturbed, until it grows. Likewise, your assumption must remain undisturbed by doubt, fear, or opposing evidence. Do not dig up the seed by questioning when or how it will appear. Trust that once imagined with conviction, it is already in motion. The mind conditioned by the senses will tempt you to abandon your assumption. You will look at your current circumstances and say, nothing has changed. You will feel the urge to return to old beliefs, to reaffirm the reality you wish to escape. But this is the greatest mistake. If you accept the evidence of the senses over the truth of imagination, you will remain trapped in the same cycle. To break free, you must persist beyond appearances, knowing that what is seen is always the reflection of what was once imagined. When you assume the feeling of already having what you desire, you must carry that feeling with you throughout the day. It must become natural, second nature, your automatic response to life. You must think from the reality you seek rather than thinking of it as something distant. If you desire success, assume the attitude of one who is already successful. If you desire health, assume the vitality and well-being of one who is whole. Do not merely think about these things. Step into them in consciousness and refuse to step out. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the senses scream otherwise, moments when you are tempted to give up. This is the crucial point where most fail. They imagine for a moment, but when reality does not shift immediately, they return to their old state. They say, it isn't working, not realizing that their very words are undoing the work. The secret is to persist, to remain unwavering in your assumption, knowing that what you have imagined is already real and must become visible in due time. This is not passive wishing. It is an active, disciplined practice. It requires awareness, focus, and faith. You do not shift states once and expect permanent change. You shift and then you remain there, regardless of what the outer world reflects. Your assumption, once fully accepted, must become more real to you than anything else. The world must conform to it, because imagination is the one and only reality. Test this for yourself. Take something small, something you can believe without resistance, and assume its fulfillment. Feel it as real, live from that state, and refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts it. If you persist, you will see it harden into fact. And once you prove this principle in one area of life, you will understand that the same law governs all things. Do not waver. Do not let circumstances dictate your belief. Hold fast to the assumption of your wish fulfilled, and it must become your reality. This is the law, and it does not fail. There is no power outside of your own consciousness that determines what you experience. The world you see, the conditions you face, the people you meet, all are drawn into your life as a reflection of the state you occupy in imagination. To change your world, you must first change the state from which you think and feel. You must learn to live in the end, to assume that your desire is already fulfilled, and to dwell in that reality so completely that the outer world has no choice but to conform. Every state exists now. Wealth exists. Love exists. Success exists. There is no future moment when these things will become real. They are already real in consciousness. The only question is, are you dwelling in the state where they are yours? You do not need to struggle to bring your desire into being. You need only assume that it is already done. When you live in the end, you bypass all doubt, all questioning, all need to manipulate circumstances. You rest in the knowing that what you have imagined is real. The senses will tell you otherwise. They will show you the opposite of what you desire. They will tempt you to return to old ways of thinking. But the senses are not creative. They only reflect what you have previously assumed to be true. If you wish to see something new, you must first become someone new in imagination. You must persist in the assumption that your wish is fulfilled, regardless of what the outer world displays. Do not wait for proof. Do not wait for something to happen before you feel as though it has. That is the mistake most people make. They say, I will believe it when I see it, not realizing that they must first believe it before they can see it. The world follows imagination. It does not lead it. The moment you adopt the state of your wish fulfilled, you have set a law into motion that cannot fail. You will be compelled to take actions in harmony with your assumption, and life itself will reshape around your new state of being. It is not enough to imagine your desire once and then go back to doubting. You must dwell in the state of fulfillment until it becomes natural to you. You must wake up in the morning and feel as though your wish has already been granted. You must walk through the day with the certainty that what you seek is already yours. If you persist in this state, the outer world will inevitably catch up. The bridge of incidents will unfold, leading you effortlessly to the realization of your assumption. The mind, conditioned by the past, will resist. It will remind you of past failures, of limitations, of all the reasons why your desire seems impossible. But none of that matters. The past has no power over you unless you continue to identify with it. The moment you shift your state in imagination, you sever all ties with the old reality. You step into a new life, and as long as you remain faithful to that new state, It must become your external experience. This is not wishful thinking. This is not daydreaming. This is the way creation works. The unseen reality you occupy in imagination is more real than anything your senses report. When you live in the end, you bypass the need to force or manipulate anything. You simply rest in the assumption that all is already accomplished. And because consciousness is the only reality, your assumption must harden into fact. Test this for yourself. Take something you deeply desire and assume right now that it is already done. Not that it will be, not that it might be, but that it is. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude that comes with knowing your desire is already fulfilled. Carry that feeling with you, make it natural, and refuse to entertain any thought to the contrary. If you do this, you will watch as life unfolds to confirm your assumption. There is no power in waiting, no power in hoping. The power lies in assuming, in believing so fully that the world must bend to reflect your conviction. The world is only a mirror, and it reflects what you assume to be true. Assume wisely, persist, and let the outer world catch up to the reality you have already claimed in imagination. Everything you seek is already within you. There is no external force granting or withholding your desires. The only creative power is your own consciousness. The world you see is nothing more than the outpicturing of your inner state. If you wish to experience a new reality, you must first assume the feeling of already having it. You must embody the state of the wish fulfilled so completely that it becomes more real to you than what your senses presently report. Feeling is the secret. It is not enough to merely think about your desire or to affirm it with words alone. You must feel as though it is already yours. The subconscious mind, which is the creative power behind all manifestations, does not respond to empty words. It responds to the feeling behind them. If you say, "I am wealthy," but inwardly feel the anxiety of lack, then lack is what will be expressed in your world. If you affirm, "I am loved," but carry the feeling of loneliness, you will continue to experience isolation. It is the dominant feeling that is impressed upon the subconscious, and that feeling is what shapes your reality. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you must withdraw your attention from appearances. The senses will always try to convince you that your desire is absent. They will show you the opposite of what you seek, tempting you to believe in the reality of what is seen over the reality of what is felt. But you must remember that the world of appearances is nothing more than a shadow cast by your inner state. It has no power of its own. If you persist in feeling the truth of your desire, the outer world must shift to reflect it. Begin now by identifying something you deeply desire. Instead of thinking about it as something distant, something you hope to achieve, imagine for a moment that it is already yours. How would you feel if this were true? What emotions would arise within you if you knew beyond any doubt that your wish was already a fact? Allow yourself to sink into that feeling, to fully embrace the reality of your fulfilled desire. This is not daydreaming, this is creation. You may wonder how to maintain this feeling in the face of contrary evidence. The key is repetition and faith. The more often you return to the state of the wish fulfilled, the more natural it becomes. At first, it may feel like an act of pretense, but as you persist, the feeling will take root within you. It will become your dominant state of being, and once it does, the world will reflect it back to you in ways you could never have predicted. Do not concern yourself with the how or the when. These are distractions that only serve to pull you back into doubt. Your only responsibility is to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and to remain faithful to it. The bridge of incidents that will lead you to your desire is already set in motion the moment you accept it as real in imagination. Life itself will rearrange to make it so. Every great transformation begins within. If you desire health, feel the vitality of perfect well-being now. If you seek financial abundance, dwell in the ease and security of already having it. If love is your wish, Assume the joy of already being cherished and adored. Let these feelings dominate your consciousness and refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts them. The world has no choice but to conform. You are always creating, whether consciously or unconsciously. Every moment you are impressing your subconscious with feelings that shape your future. The question is not whether this law is working, but whether you are using it deliberately. If you persist in embodying the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will see its expression in your life with absolute certainty. Test this truth for yourself, and you will know that feeling is the key to all creation. The only obstacle between you and the life you desire is your willingness to persist in your assumption. You may accept a new state for a moment, feel its reality, and even taste the joy of its fulfillment. But if you allow the evidence of the senses to sway you, if you waver in your conviction and return to your old beliefs, then your world will remain unchanged. It is not enough to momentarily assume. You must persist in the assumption until it hardens into fact. Creation is finished. Every possible outcome already exists within consciousness. The state in which you dwell determines the life you experience. If you assume yourself to be wealthy, loved, or successful, and if you persist in that assumption, regardless of what your outer world reflects, then the world must shift to match your inner conviction. But the moment you look to appearances for validation, the moment you allow doubt to creep in, you return to your previous state. This is why so many fail. They do not persist. They plant a seed in imagination, but dig it up before it has time to take root. Understand that everything unfolds in divine order. Just as a seed planted in the soil takes time to sprout, so too does your assumption require persistence before it appears in form. You cannot force it, nor do you need to. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the state you have assumed, to live and think from it as though it were already true. The world will take care of the rest. If you assume something to be true, and then after a few days question whether it is working, you have not truly assumed it. Assumption means absolute conviction. It means walking by faith and not by sight. It means knowing that what you have accepted in imagination is already fact, even if the outer world has yet to conform. It is not a passive wish, but a living reality within you. You may be tempted to say, I have assumed my wish fulfilled, but nothing is happening. Yet something is always happening. The moment you make an assumption, the unseen world begins to shift. Events are set into motion that will lead you to the fulfillment of your desire. But if you abandon your assumption too soon, you disrupt the process. You must remain steadfast, holding to your inner reality as though nothing in the external world could shake your faith. Circumstances do not matter. They are merely reflections of your past assumptions. If you give them power, if you react to them as though they are real, you only reinforce the state you wish to escape. But if you refuse to be moved by appearances, if you persist in the conviction that your wish is already a fact, then the world must eventually conform. The law is infallible. It does not fail, but men fail to persist. Do not seek confirmation outside of yourself. You do not need to look for signs, nor do you need to force conditions to change. The law works from within. The world is simply a mirror, reflecting back to you the state in which you dwell. If you assume your wish fulfilled and remain faithful to that assumption, then your reflection, the outer world, must change accordingly. It cannot do otherwise. Your senses will try to deceive you. They will show you lack, separation, and delay. But remember, the senses are only reporting the past. They reflect only what you have previously assumed. If you react to them, you only perpetuate more of the same. But if you persist in your new assumption, if you refuse to accept anything other than the fulfillment of your desire, then your new state must manifest. The world is clay in the hands of the potter, and you are the potter. You shape reality by the assumptions you hold. If you persist in an assumption long enough, with absolute faith in its reality, it must become your experience. It does not matter how long it takes. What matters is that you never waver. Assume that you are already the person you wish to be, and let that assumption guide your every thought, word, and action. Persist, and you will see your assumption crystallize into fact. You hold within you the power to shape your reality. Every experience in your life is a direct reflection of your inner state, a manifestation of the assumptions you hold to be true. The great secret is that you do not need to struggle, force, or seek outside yourself for change. Your only task is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption until it becomes your lived experience. It all begins with recognizing that I am is the source of all creation. The name you give yourself, the identity you claim, determines the world you experience. To ask I am for anything is to assume the feeling of already having it, knowing that what is felt deeply within must be expressed outwardly. You are never denied, only delayed by your own doubts and wavering faith. The moment you truly believe in the reality of your assumption, it begins to solidify into form. The world is not separate from you. It is not something happening to you, but something flowing from you. To change your life, you must change your inner conversations, your dominant feelings, and your unwavering faith in your imagined reality. The key is not wishful thinking, but absolute conviction, the ability to feel the truth of your desire before it has appeared in the world of the senses. Remain unmoved by appearances. Do not let the outer world dictate your inner state, for the outer is only a reflection of the inner. If you persist in your assumption, if you live in the end and refuse to accept anything contrary to your desire, the law must bring it into being. This is the great lesson. You are always creating, whether consciously or unconsciously. Every moment, you are shaping your world by the assumptions you hold. The question is not whether the law works, but whether you will persist long enough for it to be made manifest. Dare to assume. Dare to claim your desires as already yours. Walk in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and life will rearrange itself to reflect your inner conviction. There is no power outside of you greater than the power within you. Persist, believe, and watch as your world transforms to match the reality you have chosen to accept.